What if your garden never stopped blooming? Not for a week, not for a month, but from the first warm days of spring all the way to the cold breath of November. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make that happen. Welcome to Serge's Garden. I'm Serge, and today we're counting down the top 25 longest blooming perennials you can grow. These aren't just pretty flowers, these are workhorses, plants that bloom relentlessly, attract wildlife, and come back stronger every single year. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting started, this list will transform your garden into a living, breathing spectacle of color that never quits. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Plant number 1, coneflower or echinacea. Kicking off our list at number 1 is the magnificent coneflower, echinacea. And I'm starting here for good reason. Few perennials deliver as much bang for their buck. Coneflowers bloom from early summer right through to the first frost, producing vivid daisy-like flowers in shades of pink, purple, white, coral, and even deep red. They thrive in full sun and tolerate poor, dry soil, making them practically indestructible. Plant them in a sunny border, and they'll reward you for years. But here's what makes echinacea truly special. It's one of the most important pollinator plants you can grow. Bees adore it. Butterflies can't resist it. And in autumn, goldfinches feast on the seed heads. Don't deadhead everything. Leave some for the birds. As a bonus, echinacea has well-documented medicinal properties and is one of the best-selling herbal supplements in the world. Beauty, ecology, and wellness, all in one plant. Number 2 is a garden classic, English lavender. Close your eyes and you can almost smell it already. With its silvery foliage and spikes of violet-purple flowers, lavender is one of the most instantly recognizable plants on earth. It blooms from late spring through summer, and if you cut it back after the first flush, you'll often get a second wave of flowers in late summer. Lavender demands 2 things above all else: full sun and excellent drainage. It absolutely hates sitting in wet soil. Plant it at the front of borders, along pathways, or in terracotta containers. Anywhere you'll brush past it and release that intoxicating fragrance. The dried flowers are wonderful for sachets and culinary use. And for pollinators, a single lavender plant in full bloom can host dozens of bees simultaneously. If you're only planting one thing from this list, make it lavender. Number 3 is pure drama, the dahlia. From midsummer right through to the first frost, dahlias put on one of the most spectacular floral displays in the gardening world. They come in every size imaginable, from huge dinner plate blooms 30 centimeters across to delicate pom-pom varieties the size of a golf ball. The color range is extraordinary: scarlet reds, sunset oranges, deep purples, pure whites, and every shade in between. Dahlias thrive in full sun with rich, well-draining soil. In colder climates, the tubers need to be lifted and stored over winter, but trust me, the effort is worth it. Regular deadheading is the secret to keeping them blooming continuously. Feed them every 2 weeks with a high potassium fertilizer, and they will absolutely dazzle you. For cut flowers, nothing in the garden comes close. Number 4, catmint or nepeta is one of the most underrated perennials in existence. This plant is a silver blue cloud of soft lavender flowers from late spring, and if you shear it back hard after the first bloom, it bounces back within weeks for a second, sometimes third, flush. The fragrance is cool, minty, and utterly refreshing on a warm day. Catmint is extraordinarily easy to grow. Full sun, well-drained soil, and it will even tolerate drought once established. Plant it at the front of borders where it can spill gracefully over edges. It's an absolute magnet for bumblebees. Watching them work their way through a planting of catmint is genuinely hypnotic. Walker's Low is a particularly stunning variety, growing to about 60 centimeters and creating sweeping waves of color. And yes, cats do love it, but they rarely do serious damage. Number 5 is the hardy geranium. And please don't confuse this with the tender pelargonium that you see in window boxes. The true hardy geranium, or cranesbill, is a completely different beast. It blooms from April right through September, comes back reliably every year, and asks for almost nothing in return. Hardy geraniums are available in a wonderful range of colors, from pure white through every shade of pink to deep magenta and violet blue. They grow equally well in sun or partial shade and aren't fussy about soil. After the first wave of flowers, simply cut the whole plant back to the ground. It will regrow lush foliage and often produces a second round of blooms. Rosanna is arguably the finest variety ever introduced, producing rich violet blue flowers almost continuously from May to October. A true garden legend. Number 6 is a showstopper that many gardeners overlook: Agapanthus, the African lily. Those tall architectural stems topped with spectacular globes of blue or white flowers are absolutely breathtaking. Agapanthus blooms in midsummer, typically July and August, and the display lasts for weeks. In milder climates, it's fully hardy. In colder regions, container growing is ideal, so you can bring it under cover in winter. It thrives in full sun and well-drained soil, even tolerating quite poor conditions. Once established, Agapanthus is surprisingly drought-resistant. Plant it in large dramatic drifts, or use it as a structural focal point in a container display. The blue varieties are particularly striking. That intense cobalt or sky blue is genuinely rare in the plant world, and pairs magnificently with silver foliage or white flowers. Number 7 is the endlessly reliable daylily, Hemerocalis. Each individual flower lasts only one day, hence the name, but the plants produce such an abundance of buds that the display continues for weeks, often from June right through to August or even September. Modern hybrid daylilies come in a staggering range of colors: bright yellows, fiery oranges, deep burgundy, soft peach, near black, and bicolors with contrasting edges. They're incredibly tough, thriving in full sun to partial shade, tolerating drought and poor soil, and spreading reliably year after year. Stella de Oro is one of the most popular compact varieties, barely 30 centimeters tall, but producing golden yellow flowers almost non-stop. For something more dramatic, try Bella Lugosi with its deep purple blooms. Divide clumps every 3 to 4 years to keep them flowering vigorously. Number 8 is Salvia, perennial sage, and it's one of the most valuable plants you can grow for continuous color and wildlife. The spikes of tubular flowers are produced in extraordinary quantities from late spring right through to autumn, in shades of intense blue, purple, red, and pink. Caradonna, with its dark purple stems and violet blue flowers, is a garden icon. Hot Lips offers a stunning bicolor of red and white that pollinators find irresistible. Salvias thrive in full sun and well-drained, even poor soil. They positively hate heavy, wet conditions. Cut them back by about a third after the first main flush to encourage further waves of bloom. Bees, especially bumblebees, are completely obsessed with salvia. A mature drift of blue salvia in full bloom with bees working every flower is one of the great sights of the summer garden. Number 9 is the enchanting Scabiosa, the pincushion flower. Originally a wildflower of meadows and chalky hillsides, Scabiosa has been refined into garden varieties of real elegance. Those delicate domed flower heads in shades of lavender blue, white, and deep crimson appear from June all the way to late autumn, one of the longest seasons on this list. They thrive in full sun and prefer well-drained, slightly alkaline soil. Perfect for cottage gardens and informal borders, Scabiosa mixes beautifully with other perennials. A single plant can set over 2,000 seeds, attracting birds to feed on them through autumn and winter. For pollinators, the open flower structure makes nectar easily accessible. Butterflies and bees love it. Deadhead regularly to extend the blooming season and divide clumps every few years to keep plants vigorous. Number 10. Black-eyed Susan is pure sunshine in plant form. Rudbeckia produces its cheerful golden yellow daisy flowers with that distinctive dark chocolate center from late June right through to the first hard frost. It's one of the last plants still blooming when everything else has given up, and for that alone it earns a permanent spot in my garden. Rudbeckia thrives in full sun and is remarkably tolerant of poor dry soils. It self-seeds enthusiastically, so new plants pop up naturally around the garden each year. Leave the seed heads standing through winter. They're architecturally beautiful under frost and provide seeds for birds. The species Rudbeckia fulgida goldsturm is probably the most widely grown, forming dense clumps about 60 centimeters tall, absolutely smothered in flowers from August onwards. Number 11 is Astrantia masterwort, a plant of extraordinary sophistication. Those intricate star-shaped flowers with their papery bracts look almost handmade, like something from a botanical illustration. They appear in shades of white, pink, deep crimson, and burgundy from June through August, and cutting the plant back after flowering often produces a second flush. Astrantia thrives in rich, moist soil and tolerates shade well, making it perfect for those trickier spots under trees or in damp corners. It's also notably resistant to slugs and snails, which is a significant advantage. Add generous amounts of compost when planting. Hatspen blood with its deep red flowers and Roma in soft dusky pink are outstanding varieties. These are plants that genuinely stop garden visitors in their tracks. There's nothing quite like them. Number 12 is Penstemon, one of the longest blooming perennials in any temperate garden. Those elegant tubular flowers appear from June right through to the first frosts, in colors ranging from pure white through every shade of pink, red, and purple to near black. They're absolutely magnetic for bumblebees and, in warmer climates, hummingbirds. Penstemon prefers full sun and well-drained soil. In harsh winters, the top growth may be killed back, but the plants usually regenerate from the base. The trick is to leave pruning until late spring, when you can see exactly which stems have survived. Planting in groups of 3 or 5 creates a much more impactful display. Husker Red is a particularly striking variety with bronzy red foliage that intensifies in full sun. Garnet reliably produces deep wine red flowers from June to October. Number 13, Alstroemeria, the Peruvian lily, is one of the most impressive value-for-money perennials you can grow. Modern varieties bloom from June right through to October, 4 to 5 solid months of extraordinary color. The flowers are exotic, lily-like, and come in a dazzling range: cream, yellow, orange, coral, pink, red, and purple, often with contrasting streaks and spots inside. Alstroemeria prefers a sheltered position with at least partial shade from the hottest afternoon sun. It thrives in fertile, well-drained soil enriched with compost. Once established, it spreads to form impressive clumps. The flowers are exceptional for cutting. They last up to 2 weeks in a vase. Pull stems rather than cutting them to encourage continuous production. Modern varieties like Princess Lily's series are bred specifically for continuous flowering and are truly spectacular. Number 14, Clematis, is rightly called the Queen of Climbers. This versatile vine clothes walls, fences, trellises, and arbors in cascading flowers from late spring right through to early autumn. The variety is staggering. Some species produce enormous blooms 20 centimeters across in deep purple or vibrant red. Others cover themselves in hundreds of tiny star-shaped flowers. The key to success with clematis is the classic gardener's saying, head in the sun, feet in the shade. Plant it where the flowering stems can reach full sun, but keep the root zone cool with mulch or low-growing plants. Pruning rules vary by group. Group 1 hardly at all, Group 2 lightly in early spring, Group 3 hard back to 30 centimeters. Get this right and clematis will reward you abundantly. The President in royal purple and Niobe in deep red are outstanding. Number 15 is a plant with serious drama, Kniphofia the red-hot poker. Nothing in the garden creates quite the same bold structural impact as those tall torches of flowers in blazing oranges, reds, yellows, and creamy whites. Kniphofia blooms from June right through September, with different varieties staggering the display across the season. They thrive in full sun and well-drained soil. In fact, good drainage in winter is essential for their survival. The strap-like foliage is evergreen in mild winters, providing year-round structure. Hummingbirds and bees are besotted with the nectar-rich flowers. Modern varieties like flamenco offer a spectacular mixed color range, while Poco Yellow is a compact variety perfect for smaller gardens. Leave the old flower spikes through winter. They add architectural interest and shelter insects. Number 16 is Sedum stonecrop, the unsung hero of the autumn garden. While other plants are winding down, sedum is just hitting its stride. The tall, upright varieties like Autumn Joy form dome-shaped heads of tiny, star-shaped flowers in late summer, maturing from pale pink through deep rose to brick red as autumn progresses. These seed heads then remain architecturally beautiful through winter. Sedum thrives in full sun and poor, dry, well-drained soil. In fact, too much fertility makes it floppy. It's extraordinarily drought-tolerant and requires almost no maintenance. For pollinators in late season, sedum is absolutely critical. The flat-topped flower heads provide a perfect landing platform and are covered in butterflies and bees from August through October. Divide clumps every 3 to 4 years in spring. Number 17, garden phlox, is one of those plants that makes you stop and simply breathe it in. The fragrance is extraordinary, sweet, warm, and intoxicating on a summer evening. Tall garden phlox blooms from midsummer through September in a magnificent range of colors: pure white, candy pink, magenta, lilac, and deep purple, many with contrasting eyes. It thrives in full sun and rich, moist, well-drained soil. Good air circulation is important to prevent powdery mildew. Don't plant too densely and remove any affected leaves promptly. Regular watering during dry spells is essential. Deadheads spend flowers to extend the season. Phlox is exceptional for attracting butterflies and moths in the evening hours. The creeping variety, Phlox subulata, creates a carpet of spring color, a completely different but equally magnificent plant. Number 18 is Amsonia or Blue Star, a plant that offers two completely different seasons of beauty. In late spring, it produces clusters of delicate, starry, powder blue flowers that light up the garden with a soft, luminous quality that few other flowers can match. Then in autumn, the willow-like foliage turns a brilliant, electric golden yellow, one of the finest autumn color effects of any perennial. Amsonia thrives in full sun to partial shade and prefers well-drained soil. Once established, it's notably drought-tolerant. It forms tidy, upright clumps that rarely need staking and require division only every 5 or 6 years. It's also completely unbothered by deer or rabbits, a significant advantage for many gardeners. Amsonia hubrichti is the finest species, with feathery foliage that creates an exceptionally beautiful textural effect. Number 19, Campanula, the bellflower, is one of the most diverse and charming genera in the gardening world. From tiny rock garden alpines barely 5 centimeters tall to towering border perennials reaching 150 centimeters, there is a campanula for every situation. The flowers, always those distinctive bell or star shapes, come in shades of blue, violet, lavender, white, and pink, blooming from late spring through to early autumn. Most campanulas prefer sun to partial shade and well-drained fertile soil. Campanula lactiflora. Pritchard's variety is a spectacular, tall border plant smothered in violet-blue flowers from June to August. The creeping Campanula pościarskiana is perfect for walls and rock gardens, creating sheets of star-shaped blue flowers. All campanulas are excellent for bees. Number 20, Centranthus rubra, red valerian, is one of those plants that appears to thrive on neglect. You'll find it growing from cliff faces, stone walls, and dry gravel beds, producing abundant clusters of small fragrant flowers in deep crimson, pink, or white from late spring right through to autumn. Few plants are more generous or less demanding. Centranthus tolerates, even prefers, poor, dry, alkaline soil. It thrives in full sun. Cut it back hard after the first main flush and it will produce a continuous second and third wave of flowers. It self-seeds enthusiastically, naturalizing beautifully in walls and gravel. Butterflies absolutely adore it. The root has traditional medicinal uses as a relaxant, quite different from the pharmaceutical valerian but sharing the name. A perfect plant for a relaxed cottage-style planting. Number 21. Erysimum, the perennial wallflower, is truly one of the most extraordinary flowering plants for extended season. Certain varieties, especially Bowles's mauve, produce their spikes of rich mauve-purple flowers almost non-stop from early spring right through to late autumn, and in mild winters even through December and January. The fragrance is warm and spicy, filling the air around them. Perennial wallflowers thrive in full sun and are absolutely at home in poor, dry, chalky soil. Plant them at the front of sunny borders or in the cracks of walls and paving. They're not always long-lived, 3 to 4 years is typical, but they're easy to propagate from cuttings taken in late summer. Bowles's mauve is genuinely one of the greatest garden plants ever selected. Number 22. Dianthus, the carnation or garden pink, is a plant of timeless elegance and extraordinary fragrance. The ruffled, fringed flowers with their intensely clove-like scent are one of the great sensory pleasures of the summer garden. Dianthus blooms from late spring through autumn, and modern perennial varieties are remarkably free-flowering. They thrive in full sun and well-drained, slightly alkaline soil. Lime-rich conditions suit them perfectly. Deadhead regularly to keep the flowers coming. The compact varieties are ideal for border edges, rock gardens, and containers. Doris is a beloved classic with soft salmon-pink double flowers of outstanding fragrance. Memories produces pure white blooms. For fragrance alone, Dianthus is unmissable. Place it where you'll walk past it every day. Number 23. Aster, the Michaelmas daisy, is the great champion of the autumn garden. When most other perennials are finished, asters burst into their finest display, covering themselves in clouds of daisy flowers in shades of violet, purple, blue mauve, pink, and white, from September right through to November. They thrive in full sun and well-drained fertile soil, and require regular division every 2 to 3 years to maintain their vigor, dividing in spring using only the outer, younger growth. Powdery mildew can be an issue. Choose resistant varieties like Little Carlo or Aster X Fricarti Monch, arguably the finest aster ever introduced, with large lavender blue flowers from July through October. For late-season pollinators, asters are absolutely vital. The nectar is a lifeline for queen bumblebees preparing to hibernate. Number 24 is one of the most beloved garden shrubs in the world, hydrangea. Those voluminous, theatrical flower heads, mop heads, lace caps, cones, create a presence in the garden that is simply unmatched. They bloom from midsummer through autumn, and the flowers pass through beautiful color transitions as they age. The blue or pink color of mophead varieties is determined by soil pH. Acidic soil gives blue, alkaline gives pink. Hydrangeas prefer moist, well-drained soil and thrive in partial shade, though they can tolerate full sun if watered well. Prune mop heads and lace caps in spring, removing only the old flower heads. Paniculata varieties like Limelight and Annabelle are more vigorous and can be pruned harder. Leave the old flower heads through winter. They're beautiful under frost and protect the buds beneath. And rounding out our magnificent top 25 is the butterfly bush, Buddleia davidi. If you want to fill your garden with butterflies and bees from July through September, this is your plant. The long arching panicles of tiny flowers in purple, blue, pink, white, and bicolors are one of nature's most extraordinary pollinator magnets. On a warm, sunny day, a mature Buddleia in full bloom can host dozens of butterfly species simultaneously. It grows vigorously, reaching 2 to 3 meters, and thrives in full sun and any well-drained soil. Cut it back hard in early spring, down to about 30 centimeters, to keep it compact and producing fresh flowering growth. A word of caution: Buddleia is invasive in some regions, so deadhead before seeds disperse, or choose sterile varieties like Buzz series, a spectacular, wildlife-enriching finale to our list. And that's a wrap on our top 25 longest blooming perennials. From the bold structure of Kniphofia to the butterfly magnetism of Buddleia, from spring's first Amsonia stars to autumn's last aster daisy. With these plants, your garden will never stop being extraordinary. I hope this has inspired you to try something new this season. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the Serge's Garden community. I'll see you in the next one. Happy growing!